You get stale.
Popcorn?
Popcorn.
Popcorn.
You forget about things like stale.
Popcorn.
Popcorn, stale popcorn.
Popcorn.
Pop.
This is the
Stale popcorn.
Hip hip to doodly doo. Welcome to the Stale Popcorn Podcast. I'm your host, Steven, and with me as always is my co-host, Christopher. How you doing, Chris?
Oh, hushimi garnin. Good to see you, Steve. How are you doing?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. Should we just dive on into some movie news if you got any for me?
Are you not going to ask me a question, Steve? And how long are we going to carry on with these voices?
Oh, I'm done. I'm done with the voice now. But
oh, yes, me too.
I don't got a question for you. Do you got a question?
I thought this was a real bit we had going on.
Oh, we'll workshop it.
What's your favorite cereal, Steve?
CT Crunch, all the way.
You're supposed to say Lucky Charms.
Oh, Lucky Charms. Oh, I forgot about the pitch. It's me, Lucky Charms. Over the rainbow with you, me green panties on. Lucky Charms. What about yourself?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Okay.
The best there is, yeah.
Very good. Diving into it, Chris, what you got for me?
Last week we talked about Rebel Ridge, remember? Fantastic flick.
Oh, yes.
We got a little more on the whole John Boyega. Remember us talking about that?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, John Boyega abruptly left Rebel Ridge with Netflix citing it as family reasons. However, THR said Boyega left due to a myriad? How do you say that? Myriad?
I believe it's a myriad.
Of issues. The filmmakers allegedly only found out when they saw he had checked out of his hotel. Jeremy Saulnier now says that it was the right situation and Aaron Paul was cast within weeks.
Aaron Pierre, I believe.
Aaron Paul.
Aaron Paul.
Yeah.
This is my own private domicile.
Give me my money. Yeah. Talking to the mic. Yeah, that would, I mean, he might be the only one that could play it better if you ask me.
Oh, yeah. No, I think that was a good choice. I really liked Aaron Pierre better.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely worked out better, but Boyega, man, just ghosting them. They find out through the hotel saying, hey, you haven't paid yet.
Yeah.
Kathy Bates, heard of her?
Oh, yes. She's in a lot of things.
Is in a lot of things. What's your favorite role by her?
Fried green tomatoes, probably.
Never heard of it.
Well,
Waterboy for me.
There it is.
She is retiring. Her final role will be in the Matlock reboot series.
Who's going to take her place in American Horror Story?
Oh, that's right. I forgot she was in that.
Comment below, listeners. Who's going to take her place?
So is she Matlock, or who's she going to be here?
Yeah, she's the titular Matlock. She's going to take the role.
So. Beetlejuice 2, a film we're going to be talking about later.
Mm-hmm.
It received a 3-minute standing ovation at the world premiere of Venice Film Festival.
Now, Chris, we talked about this last week about the normal humans clapping and standing. Mm-hmm. And we said, we're like, oh, if somebody stands for 3 minutes, it's probably not a very good movie.
That's
and
bad.
I want to know why. Yeah, why is so little time for Beetlejuice? What's the dealio?
I guess. I don't know.
Who's to say?
Speaking of Beetlejuice, opens with 110 domestically. Second best opening ever in September. Outgrossed the first film's global total. Third biggest domestic opening of 2024.
That's pretty good. It's pretty surprising. These legacy sequels, they'll bring butts in seats for surezies, but the quality of the film is another discussion, however.
All right. You're teasing there. James Earl Jones.
Yes.
Sadly passed away at the age of 93.
Ripe old age. R.I.P., buddy. I know him personally, so I can say that.
So, sad.
What's your favorite James Earl Jones movie?
Ooh, probably Star Wars.
Yeah, iconic. I think what's interesting about him is a lot of his most famous movies, he's not in them for very long. You know, like your Star Wars, Lion King, Bloody Sandlot. I think Sandlot's my favorite. Who, George? I love that. Just almost a cameo, but very influential. And as a kid, you're like, yeah, that's a good guy. That's a good actor. You know, you feel something. I feel like that's very evident on screen. I feel like he's a good guy in real life. And I can speak to that because I knew him personally.
Yes. Sony reportedly scrapped most of Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse due to creative reasoning. The film likely won't release before 2027. Spider-Man 4 is also likely aiming to release in 2026, and they wouldn't release the two films in the same year.
Oh man, that's rough. That's like 4 years in between movies for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, it came out 2020. What was
3 or 2022? I think it's 2022.
I think it was 20. Well, it was last summer. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, geez. Creative differences, man.
Yeah, I just remember being so frustrated going to those theaters because, like, all those movies. I don't remember. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention, but it didn't seem like it was marketed as a split. So, like that one. It just kind of ends abruptly, and I'm just like, what? And then you'd think if a movie ends like that, they already filmed the next one it's going to release within a year, but it's just like, oh, it's actually going to take 5 years here. Like, why are you doing this?
It's not fair. None of it. It's not fair to the fans.
It's not fair. I like a nice, clean wipe, you know? They're leaving streaks. Yeah.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Yeah.
And we don't like it.
No, we don't.
It's like I'm wiping a marker.
Yeah. Destin Daniel Cretton, director of Shang-Chi.
Oh, okay.
Set to direct Spider-Man 4.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, we get a little Shang-Chi there. Ian McKellen.
Oh,
yes. Sorry, you go ahead.
I literally was just going to say I got nothing to say about that.
Well, I'm glad you stopped. No, I'm keeping this in.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Ian McKellen says the plan is to make 2 more Lord of the Rings films.
Yes.
And he says Hunt a Golem will be split into 2 movies, our favorite thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Love a good split.
It's, with that news, it was the same exact feeling I had when I first read that The Hobbit would be split into 3. Which is, pourquoi? Why are you doing that?
Was it originally supposed to be 3, or was it 2 and then they went to 3?
I think Guillermo del Toro's initial pitch was 2 movies. And then when Peter Jackson came on board, they're like, let's milk this cow. Let's dry up the teats and get everything we can out of this franchise. At least that's what I can remember. I'm probably wrong. Most likely wrong, but
I think it was Harry Potter that started that whole part 1.
Yeah,
like part 2. The Deathly Hallows. That was the first one I remember, but then I was like, now Hobbits in 3. We got Hunger Games. We're going to split this into 2 movies.
We got Twilight.
Splitting that. Ugh. And then just when you think we're getting away from it, they get you back again.
They pull me back in. Yeah.
I can't handle it. Now, tell me you've seen this, The Wild Robot.
No,
You've seen the trailers?
Heavens no. What is it?
It's like some robot in the forest or something. But I remember, and my wife told this to me too, like, because I seen the trailer when I go to the movies, and part of the trailer, it's like the year's best film, or like best animated film of the year, like stuff. And I'm like, that's pretty bold considering, Inside Out 2 just, it's like top 10 grossing film of all time. Everyone loves it. But apparently debuts 100% on Rotten Tomatoes based on 21 reviews. Hey, maybe it's the best. Maybe they were on to something here.
Yeah, maybe we'll check it out. Releases September 27th.
Disney has been sued for using Peter Cushing's likeness in Rogue One.
Now, my first question, Christopher, is does he have a Disney Plus account?
Oh, that's a good question here. I don't know. He better not.
Yeah, I read that story and was immediately like, maybe, I don't know, maybe he needs some money and he's like, hey, Disney's getting sued again, I'll check on him. But like, in my opinion, Christopher, as an absolute authority on lawsuits of multi-billion-dollar corporations, I think the best strategy is to hold on to something for 7 or 8 years and then pounce, you know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Imagine if he does win and then Ian Holmes, like great-great-grandson's like, hey, alien, come on.
Yeah. Also, I'm a friend of Peter Cushing. Can I get in on that?
Well, apparently it's not his family that's suing. It's one of his oldest friends.
Yeah.
Claims they had a deal with Cushing that gave the company a veto over the recreation of his image with special effect. He was supposed to appear in a TV film that was never made. Disney tried to get the bid thrown out, but it was rejected and a judge ruled the case should go to trial. Lucasfilm argued that they owned the rights to use Cushing's image from the original Star Wars movie.
I hope he did some yoga before in order for this stretch to occur, if you know what I mean.
I saw where that was going. I'm not against Disney losing a couple $1 billion or $1 million or $1,000 or even a cent.
Yeah.
Penguin debuts to 89% on Rotten Tomatoes based on 18 reviews.
This is a movie? Or is it just the
show, The Penguin?
Oh, yeah. You forgot
Colin
That's
Farrell?
how I know, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I forgot about the penguin coming. I thought it was just 2 hours of penguins sitting bloody, just staring at the screen.
I think it's out now on HBO, and then a week later it's on Max or something.
Is HBO not Max? I don't know.
I think we talked about this earlier.
And I don't even remember. I'm sorry. Derailing the podcast again.
Yeah, you sure are. But are you going to watch the show, Steve?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah, I'll try to watch all of it, and then maybe we'll do an episode on it, because I like that world. I like Matt Reeves' Penguin and stuff, and he's got, I can't remember his voice. Insert the old clip of me doing a penguin impression. Oh, it's somewhere around here.
Danny DeVito version, I assume.
Yes, absolutely.
HBO has greenlit a comedy pilot this week from Tim Robinson.
Oh, boy.
Executive produced and starring Tim Robinson's The Chair Company follows a man who has an incident at work and unravels a conspiracy.
I love it. I love me some Tim Robinson.
Yeah,
probably one of the funniest guys out there right now.
Yes.
If you haven't heard of him, I think you should leave. Fantastic thing to say to people and show.
Yeah. Mottos I live by and shows I watch.
Yes.
I got one more for you, Steve.
Okay.
Glenn's Corner. I'm sitting in the corner and I'm staring at a picture of Glenn. Did I sing that right?
I got it, Christopher. You ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, wait, let me cue it up. Through the magic of editing,
Oh, I didn't know.
Wait a second. Hold on.
Yeah, man, you're really derailing this here. Huh?
You can edit it out. Give me a break.
No, I want the listeners to know what I go through here.
Why isn't it playing?
Oh, my goodness.
Hold on. Please forgive me. Okay, here it is. Ready?
Yep.
Glenn's Corner, where I'm sitting in the corner looking at nothing but a picture of Glenn.
Wow, is that you on the keys yourself?
That's me on the ivory keys right there.
You're tickling them, huh?
Tickling them, yeah.
You're pickling them?
Yeah. Glenn Powell news, let's do it, buddy.
Glenn Powell, all right. He reveals that Denzel Washington was a big part in helping kickstart his acting career by convincing him to move to L.A. Denzel introduced Powell to the talent agent Ed L'Amato, who urged Powell to seize the moment by giving up school and moving to L.A.
Boy, Denzel, man, a man among men, changing everyone's lives. He's changed our lives because of how he influenced old pal Glenn. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts, Denzel. You done it again.
Thank you, Denzel. I can honestly say my life has changed because of you and what you've done.
Me too.
That's all I got, Steve. You got anything?
I don't have any other news for you, Chris, but what I do have is a question for you, and that question is, what you been watching?
I watched one thing, one thing only, R.O.P., or should I say R.I.P.?
For the Rings of Power?
Yeah. Rings of Power. Episode
5? Yes.
Okay.
We're on 5 now.
Yes. Yeah, watch Rings of Power 5. You watch it, Steve?
No. I'm sorry. I forgot. I've been so busy, man.
Are you serious?
I'm so sorry. I've been... forgive me.
I really had to power through and get it for this.
Oh my gosh,
Steve.
I'm so sorry, Chris.
Steve, we
sorry,
did it on
man.
this
I've been
day
busy.
at this time, and he done forgot. Well,
you're going in solo. Tell me.
What do you want me to say here? I won't spoil it, I guess, but...
Is it better than last episode? We can do that.
I will say it's the best of the season.
Oh, okay.
I think you'll like it, because basically most of it is on your favorite storyline, on Celebrimbor and the Rings. And... Galadriel's in it for 1 minute. And 1 minute too many, if you ask me. But she doesn't say a single word. So I'd say that alone makes it the best. Basically, it just goes over the rings and the island folk, whatever that island, Numenor.
Oh, Numenor.
So it's mainly just those two and some dwarf stuff.
Fair enough. And Chris, from the bottom of my heart, I do apologize. I've just been so darn busy this week lately. I gotta catch the plane in a couple hours too, so I've just been and
Yeah, sure.
dunked, sinking in the business.
All right.
Anyway.
So I assume you watch anything, Steve? Watch you be like, yeah, I've seen this. I've been so busy watching movies and doing nothing.
No, I didn't have time, and I apologize, Christopher, for that. But you want to just get into the meat and potatoes of the episode and talk and dive into it?
Meat potato.
We're going to be talking about, most people just call it Beetlejuice 2, but I'm going to respect and call it Beetlejuice BeetleJuice. That's what we're going to be calling it.
Don't say it a third time, Steve.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm not joking here.
What's the statute of limitations in between Beetlejuice's sayings, right? Does it have to be consecutive, like within 5 seconds?
Yeah, if you say like Beetlejuice, does it restart because you said
Yeah, because you had a, give me the rules, give me the name. Anyway.
I don't know.
But Chris, I got a question for you.
Yes.
I feel bad. And I want to ask how your teeth are doing, because I'm assuming you bit the bullet watching this movie for this podcast.
Wait, are you telling me you didn't watch this either?
No, I did.
Oh, I was like, Steve, you can't do this to me.
I did see this one, but because I know you're not a big fan of Timothy Burton.
I wouldn't say I'm not a big fan. I say I'm not a fan.
Just straight up not a fan.
I watched Wednesday, which was the last thing he did, and I thought Wednesday was fine. Like, I didn't love or hate it, but it wasn't as annoying. But so you seen Beetlejuice 1, Steve?
I have, yeah. That was one that I didn't hate growing up. Most of his movies I'm not a huge fan of, but that one I think had some fun elements to it. So it was just kind of there for me. I'm not a fan, but it's just good.
Yeah, I'd never seen it. The wife had never seen it, but she wanted to watch the new one, so she put on the first one. And I think that's from like 87 or something. And you know my whole theory of watching a flick from before the year you're born as an adult, you're never going to enjoy it, you know?
Yeah.
Let's just say, I wasn't really into it. It was one of those, like, halfway through, I'm like, I got some chores to do. I'd rather do that, you know, than watch this. So.
Yeah.
So I never actually finished. I was kind of, like, in and out there. But she didn't really like that one either. It was just kind of But she saw Beetlejuice 2, and Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. She came back, she was like, that was so funny. Oh, man, that was good. You got to watch it. So she was like, basically made me watch it. And then I saw it, and I definitely thought it was better than the first. But I also never saw the first as a kid, so I didn't really got that nostalgia. For some reason. Why wasn't Alec Baldwin in it? They had all the other characters reprise their roles, but I was waiting for Baldwin.
Well, he's tied up at the moment.
Oh, tied up, huh?
Yeah.
Like, seeing the trailers, it would just make me, I was like, I do not want to watch that, because I'm not an animation, kind of the goofy animation in real life. Like, to me, it physically pains me.
You are offended by Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Well, there's, as a child and a growing boy, there's some positives there, but
sure.
This one, I'm like, yeah. It was like the people's heads, the little minion things, the heads. I don't know why, it just upsets me.
Sure.
But as I watched it, it didn't bother me as much as I thought it would. It's kind of like, you remember the first Into the Spider-Verse? I remember seeing a trailer, and just like the animation style just like bugged me.
Yeah.
But then I watched the movie, and I'm like, it's actually like I like it now. Like, you just kind of get used to it. So that was kind of what happened here, where I wouldn't say I liked it, but it wasn't as like distracting to me as I was afraid it was.
Very curious. What would you give this as like a rating?
I'd probably give it like a 3 out of 5. I didn't hate my time. I didn't regret watching it. I wouldn't like pay money to watch it. I'm probably never going to watch it again, but I've definitely seen worse movies, even within like the last few weeks. So, how about you, Steve? What are you thinking?
I'm kind of in the opposite camp, because I think I like the first one better. Maybe it's because I saw it when I was a kid. Your whole theory, your concrete, airtight theory there.
Yes.
But
peer-reviewed theory.
Yeah, I probably would give this like a 2.5, maybe. Just because I definitely have more negatives than positives that I want to jump into in the spoiler section. Yes. But I like that it was a crisp, clean hour 40, whatever, and a nice jaunt in the park. But I just don't think I'll ever come back to it, TBH.
Well, should we get into the spoils?
Let's get into the spoils. So I feel like in the first one, The first one had a lot more charm, a lot more emotional core to it, because the main kind of characters are like the couple, you know, and they die accidentally, and so they're just trying to live their life in the afterlife, and so that's when they turn over and try to find Beetlejuice, and he runs amok all over the place, and then this one I feel like didn't have that emotional core to it. They had the mother and daughter or whatever, but the story wasn't as engaging for me. And honestly, it kind of felt like more of a Halloween special, like Halloween Beetlejuice to me, at least. Because it was like, hey, remember these callbacks? Remember the shrunken heads? Remember the Lisan Al-Gaib sandworm? He's back, you know? And I don't know. Have you ever seen a movie that takes like 45 minutes to start?
Yeah, plenty of them.
Oh, that was this one, I feel. Because like bloody nothing was happening, and then halfway through the movie, they're like, "Oh, yep, that's right. We got a movie to start." At least my opinion, because they were like, "Hey, remember these characters? They're back. They're doing this. They're wearing the exact same outfits as you remember." Which, I didn't like. I don't know. It just was lacking to me.
Yeah, I agree completely, Steve. I agree with everything you've said 10 times, tenfold. A lot of the storylines seem pointless. Like the main villain, they have her. Danny DeVito knocks over some boxes and she like staples herself up, and you're like, all right, this is going to be a main character. And then it'll be like 25 minutes of screen time without her. And then she'll pop up for like 30 seconds. I'm like, oh yeah, she's here.
Yeah.
Another 40 minutes go by. Oh, walks in here. And then at the very end, she shows up, and it's been a week since I've seen it. She just like pretty much dies instantly. How does she die? You remember this?
I saw it last night, and to be honest, gun to my head, gun to my balls, I do not know.
It's like a wedding or whatever with supposed to be Beetlejuice and Winona, and then she shows up, and then her and I think Winona's supposed to be husband, who ends up being a fraud. They just like die. But I can't remember how, but I just remember I was like, well, you really didn't need her. Like, she did nothing, and
I feel like a lot of the actors were just like Tim Burton over the years talking to him, like, if we ever make Beetlejuice, you'll be in it. And then they come to collect, and Monica Bellucci's like, hey, you remember me? He's like, oh gosh, yeah, I forgot about that. Let me try to write you in. And I think if we can talk about stars and cameos here, one of the biggest sins, in my opinion, that this movie makes is it made me forget that Willem Dafoe is in this movie so many times. Because it'll be going along, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot Willem's in this. He doesn't do anything. And Chris, I like to think we are the friends of Dafoe, and we're fans of him in every sense of the way. But he just was like, did nothing in this movie. And I'm like, if you got Willem, do something with him, you know?
Yeah.
Make him Beetlejuice's little brother or something, you know, do something with him. I don't know.
Yeah, his storyline was also like pretty similar. He was in it more than her, but like you could have took out his whole storyline and the story wouldn't have changed at all. Because again, he's just like, investigating, never actually does something. By the time he shows up at the wedding at the end, he just gets frozen anyways. So it's just like, it was kind of pointless. I don't know. Like, you got Willem, you know, he's gonna give it his all as an actor. Have him do some weird stuff. I want to see like Boondock Saints Willem just going crazy,
orchestrating the car crash. Yeah, give us Boondock Saints Willem.
But instead, it's just like, I'm an actor. Like, and he wasn't bad, but I just felt like they didn't really give him much to really. It's like having Nick Cage play like a normal banker in a movie. Like, what are you doing here? You got to put bees on him. You got to make him see in the future. You got to give him flame skull or something, but you got to let him be free.
Yeah. Well, let's talk the titular Beetlejuice here. What'd you think of Michael Keaton?
I thought he was great. If you ask me, Beetlejuice is the best part of the movie, and maybe the reason I like this one more than the first is the first one, Beetlejuice is in it for, I think, like a total of 11 minutes. Like, he's barely in this movie that's called after him. And Michael Keaton is, if you ask me, that's his best role as Beetlejuice. I don't think those are his best movies, but like, as far as like, I think he's pretty good at it. Like, when he's on, it saves the movie for me. I'm like, okay, I like this guy. You know, he's funny, he's good, he's charming, he's a little crazy. But it sounds like you're kind of disagreeing with me here, Steve.
A little bit, because like that performance in the first one is so like high energy, just ADHD all over the place, bouncing bloody Looney Tunes incarnate, if you will. But this one, I felt like it was more like bloody ambient Beetlejuice. He was just like it felt very tired and almost like a bad impression of Beetlejuice, if you will. I know it sounds a bit harsh, but it just like didn't have his high octane energy that I liked in the first one. I mean, I love me some Michael Keaton, don't get me wrong. But I just feel like he was kind of phoning it in a tad in this one. Feel bad to say it.
I disagree, Steve. I think he was the best part of the movie. In fact, like if it wasn't for him, this movie is going down a point or two, like a 2.0, a 1.5, just because it seems like to me he's really carrying everyone else around him. But I guess we'll agree to disagree. Let us know in the comments who you agree with more.
Yeah. Also, it's not really a con, but something I noticed, and it is, I don't think I've ever seen a movie distance themselves more from an actor than in this one. Because in the first one, Jeffrey Jones plays Winona Ryder's dad.
Yes.
And do you know who Jeff Jones is?
Isn't he the principal from Ferris Bueller?
He is the principal
big
from
nose,
Ferris Bueller.
Big eye.
9 times, yes.
Did he die or something?
In this one, no, he's still alive.
I thought he was like dead in real life, and they didn't want to pull an alien Romulus.
But no, let's just say he has a troubled past, and he's a friend of Jared's from Subway. They are in the same circles.
I mean, you say it, and I'm not really shocked based on his look.
Yeah,
that's why
assessment.
he was sneaking in Ferris Bueller's house. Trying to find him that whole time.
Ooh, yeah. No, but it's like, I thought it was very funny to be like, they had a mention of him immediately. They're just like, oh, he's dead. He died on a plane or whatever, or crashed. And then they had to show the animation. And then they had to show his head being bitten off. And then they had to like...
Yeah, he's the guy with no head. Wow, all right.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's all the cons I have. So let's dive into the pros, if you will, Christopher, because you got some, right?
Well, my main one is, which you disagree, is Michael Keaton, Beetlejuice. He's in it more in this movie. Therefore, I like this movie. It's funnier. It's like there's some pretty funny parts. It's a fun time. Oh, yeah, this thing's
What was the funniest bit? Because I
can't think of one, but don't put me on the spot here, Steve.
I'll put you on the spot, the pedestal.
Beetlejuice, you gotta put in the work.
When he goes, I'm Beetlejuice,
I'm gonna spill my guts here.
Actually, that was pretty funny. I like that one. I'll give you that.
The spill the guts? Yeah. I didn't care for that part, actually, but...
Well,
I just thought when he was on it, I was like, this is fun. This is good. Yeah, I mean,
it's
pretty... You can't think about the plot and logic and all this. And again, I'm trying to really be nice here. Again, I'm not saying... If you like the first one, I assume you'd like this.
Yeah.
But if you're like me and didn't like the first, there's still a slight chance you'll like this. I don't know. That's about all I got, Steve. What, you got any pros here? The music was good, actually. I'll give him that.
Music is good. I like kind of the art direction. I like seeing some of the weird practical effects, and I love me some practical effects, I love seeing that weird stuff. Yeah, I'll stick with the solid 2.
That's pretty low even for you.
I'll never come back.
I'll never come back either, but...
Tell us what you thought in the comments. Is it worth a 2 or 3 or whatever Chris wrote? One of us is right, and the other one's is Chris. Anyway...
I just think Beetlejuice, Michael Keaton's just too iconic.
He is, but he just didn't bring it in for me. He was kind of a... Yeah, I'm Beetlejuice, and this is, I just woke up from a nap, but I'm Beetlejuice now. This is Michael Keaton's Beetlejuice. Yeah. That's all it was to me.
You're really bringing down the mood here, Steve. I hear you. I do.
Well, let's bring it back up, Christopher, and say thank you to our fans for following and liking. If you're listening this far, bloody, leave a like and tell me how big of an idiot I am because I don't understand Beetlejuice.
Don't say it. Oh, we can say it now because you said
Beetlejuice. The statute of limitations was passed, so I can say it for a third time there. Yeah, tell us if you want to watch this or have us watch something else and review and talk about it. And that's all I got, Chris. What you got?
Yeah, I agree. Thanks for listening. We got a plan for next week, Steve. Are we going to penguin in? Or should we give the viewers a chance to vote here? What do we...
Oh, yeah. Let's give you a vote. If somebody comes up, maybe we'll revisit the Joker before Joker
the
2
first
comes
one.
Out. Yes. Potentially, we'll maybe do that.
So we
one.
could do Penguin or Joker. Leave it up to
one
the
of
audience.
those.
We'll say how we're going to do a vote. Comment below which one you think it is or which
We'll do
one
a
you
poll
want.
on YouTube as well, yeah.
And we'll do some real algebraic equations, throw in some PEMDAS, some quotations,
Some y equals
smart
mx
goals,
plus b.
yeah.
Yeah.
a squared equals b squared, and we'll figure out whichever one has more votes, and we'll do that. Definitely won't rig it to decide which we'll do.
Definitely. And also, Joe, welcome back, Joe. If you're still listening, if you haven't told your boss to screw off yet, then just get the courage to and have a great day just for you.
Just do it. Well,
Just do
that's
it.
all I got, Steve. Thanks
All
for
right, that's all I
listening.
got.
Have a good
Forget
week.
about things
Bye.
Bye.
Popcorn, stale popcorn.
Popcorn. This is the
Stale popcorn.
popcorn.